What's going on, everybody? I'm CaptainRoBear, and this is Red Rob Roleplay, Meteorian Core Episode 7.
Get up there. Seven's a lucky number for a lot of people.
Yeah, the lucky number. I stole the words right out of my beak.
My name is Sam. 3, 4, 5, 6, Sam 8.
Welcome to Thursday. A frosty one for most people across the world. It's very cold for me walking in and out of the office and in and out of Walmart for my whole experience of being outside.
It's cold. It's cold. Gotta warm up.
Cold, bleak, cold.
Tomorrow is meant to be the cold, bleak, cold for us. So we ran down to Morrison's as quickly as we could.
That sounds so adorable.
I wish I was joking, but like seeing as the move has just happened, that is now literally my local supermarket.
That's fantastic.
I'm not even kidding.
I mean, at this point, you're going to show up on an episode of Repair Shop in my head canon. You're going to be in a bake-off somehow. All the Americanized
Top Gear.
Yes.
No, it would not surprise me at all to find out that May was actually like, oh, that's my uncle. He's good stuff. Welcome everyone. Thanks for crowding in the chat room. You guys are chomping at the bit. I love it. Good to see you all. Announcements, my friends. Who has shows or wares to hawk?
Sunday, new episode of D20 Deathmatch. It is the Grand Master's birthday, and we will be doing a certain set of new mechanics that we've never done before. So, brand new shit on the same day. And if you haven't followed us yet on youtube.com/D20 Deathmatch, you should go sub over there. Do it now.
I've created some interesting maps, let's say. It'll be different.
And anyone that knows Caustic will understand the nightmare creations that she can unleash, whether it be based from her own stencil now
Yeah.
or the forge.
It's a good time. It's a good time. I'm just saying, y'all should show up because it's gonna blow your fucking mind. I've set the bar too high now. Dang it.
I love it. Anyone else have Khajiit has coin?
If you have wares, not really an announcement, but probably just a clarification for everyone. Off camera this week, due to move, so things are a little bit different on my end this particular episode. That's entirely why. My apologies.
You look stunning, moisturized, well feathered. You look fantastic.
Piercing yellow eyes.
A stare that does not move.
Jaundice?
So
A crippling vitamin A deficiency.
Oh wow.
we don't have
As one would
the
expect from an owl. Oh.
we need the we definitely need the shocking exorcist animation of you rotating your head around. That's the only piece we really need. I just need it on a slider over here so I can just like spin it back and forth.
I feel like one of these days we're gonna get art of like super wide-eyed owl with the knowledge that someone has just said the word T and the appropriate reaction has resounded forth.
The only appropriate one. Announcements over here. D&D right after this show over on my channel as we play Witchlight at 9:30, 10ish, depending on how we get out of here. Enjoy the fever dream that campaign has become. If it wasn't weird enough after I already put in a 9-10 hours at the office and then run D&D, we have seen it gets real weird. So enjoy. Then we have D&D one more time on the channel. We have my commission game of Ravenloft with community members is going to be on Sunday again, and I appreciate you. They had a big breakthrough performance, and I want to gas them up They had like the best RP session that they've ever had. I've never been a more proud papa than the last session that they had. They told a hell of a story. I am excited to let them continue to flourish, my baby birds. Love it. However, we need to get back in and pick up where we left off last week. On a divine intervention, raising up from literal rock, earth, stone, forming the hand of Helm once again to save our arses. In a difficult situation surrounded by gnolls, we were given a second chance to regroup, heal our wounds, bring our friend Biddy back to life, and fend off more than what we bargained for as they began to conjure their own sort of intervention and reach out to their god of chaos and harm. As you guys were able to dispose of all of them and somehow save yourselves and one individual from the caravan in Reeves. After all those heroics and Toff's final swing, we pick back up with that light still shining down us, the only thing illuminating us far, far above, almost 60 feet from where we got into this mix. Brom is just going to take the first rock that he's closest to and just lay back and just pop that back. Ugh. That was far too close for comfort. But you did damn well. Good job.
Well, I didn't die this time, so I think a job well done indeed.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that you seem to stay alive.
You don't need
a lot
to mention
better.
that, Jacob.
Yep, you're right.
She didn't like give him a look.
Yep, my bad.
Oh,
As he just kind of stares off to the edge awkwardly.
that was a damn good swing at the end there, Toff. Well done.
I don't feel very good. And you can kind of see Toff laid and sprawled out on his back, just barely gripping onto his sword there at the end. I mean, I was down in the ground for a while too, and I didn't think I was gonna get back up.
But we're all here. And I feel like that's the important part, right?
Yeah. At least we're all here. Where is here anyway? And he's gonna kind of crawl over to the edge and look down. Are we really high up in the air again?
I think we're able to walk down this one.
The gnolls got up somehow.
I guess that's easier then. We just always seem to find ourselves all the way up in the sky. At least
I mean, I could always try the knife thing again if people want to test out the transportation
No,
system.
I think we don't need to risk being splatted.
I think I'm gonna slide down on my
Use
butt.
the
Thank you.
legs. That's a good idea.
Oh,
Are
maybe
you,
that'll work.
are you sure? I mean, it worked great last time. Reeves, you weren't there, but it worked fantastically. You don't know what I'm talking about, but it's great for getting down.
So
Ew.
fantastic.
Perfect. Nothing went wrong.
You
Absolutely.
notice
nothing.
that Reeves doesn't respond, and he's just looking down at what's left of his buddy Jimmy the Knoll. Just kind of taking in what has transpired over the scariest 10-15 minutes of his life thus far.
Reeves?
Oh,
It is Reeves, right?
yes, sir. Yeah. Sorry. Just trying to kind of put all this together, really. Hard to wrap my head around all of it, you know?
About that, you kept on calling that one giant knoll Jimmy. The knoll, was that one in the one that busted out of the caravan?
Yeah. Yeah, that's Jimmy. He's a good man. Well, what was left of him. I just can't believe it all worked out this way. We thought we had a chance putting him back there. Wasn't always a no. His last couple runs, things just got difficult. We had a good plan at first, or Jimmy got turned. Just have him tell his wife, going out to hunting camp. Moon's coming up. Easy excuse. We're gonna head out to the Cloakwood. Just the boys. We'd be able to get Jimmy out. It wouldn't hurt nobody. Over the course of it, we found out we could get him to sleep with the music boxes. So we started picking some extra ones up from the town down south. And we started picking up a couple extra more. And then, damn full moon just never went away. So he got stuck. Didn't know what to do. We just tried to keep him comfortable until he could figure out what to do next. Well, we never got that far. Goddamn moon never went away until now. Now it costs us everything.
So sorry. Well, I can't exactly promise that anything gets much better from here, but what I think we can promise is that we can go ahead and do right by Jimmy now. Maybe the right thing to do is to lay him to rest.
Well, we also have someone who can raise him from the dead if you want an undead Jimmy.
That would be a cool friend he could probably light up too then.
I'm not gonna lie, that's really fucked up.
Have you seen me ripped apart Reeves in front of your eyes? That's pretty messed up too.
But you ain't no skeleton. You ain't no undead. You still got your mind up there. You ain't roaming around like no zombie. Jimmy doesn't deserve to be no zombie. He didn't deserve to be no gnoll either.
Mister, if you were okay with your friend being a gnoll, what's the big difference between that and a zombie? It's not like he was talking to you then.
Because that's lycanthropy. That's different.
I thought that was wolves.
Nelson looks very confused.
No canthropy then. Whatever you want to call it. Educated jackrabbit.
I mean, it's your choice, but I mean, if you're splitting hairs, you're just trying to determine what's enough for him.
Let's see what you
If
did
you're
there.
not ready to let go, it's okay. We have our turkey that we won't let die.
Y'all are strange.
No.
I
Nelson
appreciate my life, but this is a lot to take in. I'm sorry Jimmy hurt you. I'm sorry all this happened. Oh God, I gotta go check on the others. Oh shit. Reeves is gonna start to bumble off and head down towards the stagecoach.
Test. Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Well, since we're up here, maybe we look for a good path to Baldur's Gate so we don't keep getting into these situations.
I can help with that.
Well, matter of fact, when we were sitting on the road, looking directly at the city, before all hell broke loose, we had a pretty clear path.
Yeah, but from up here, we were going to be able to see if there's anything else that could potentially trip us up. I want to look towards Baldur's Gate to look for anything in our path to Baldur's Gate.
That is a
Don't
mood.
collect $200. Don't pass go. Just get there.
We just want to run.
Oh my god.
The foggiest day in the entire world.
I think that's the first nat one I've ever seen you roll, Mud.
It hasn't been a minute.
One closest moment.
It doesn't
What?
take a while.
One shining moment.
No, no.
Sam, you just got a lucky card.
Mm-hmm. Let me see.
What do you see out there, Jacob?
Not much of anything, actually. Visibility's kind of low. Some trees. A road.
Well, now that he's not here, what the fuck happened down there?
Yeah, that's a valid question. Where did that fire elemental come from?
That's
And-
true.
Jacob, did you break into the carriage? What happened with the cat? Who opened the carriage?
I told you, sometimes the earth shifts and tectonic plates release elementals.
Oh yeah, naturally occurring fire elementals. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes that just happens.
Can I roll to see if I believe Jacob?
That is an insight check versus his deception.
Okay.
I already deceived with a nat 20 the other time.
Did you deceive us?
Yeah, before this all started.
Oh, then never mind.
Yeah, that's why. I
Whoa,
was
whoa,
like,
whoa,
oh,
whoa,
yeah,
whoa, whoa,
naturally
whoa, whoa,
occurring.
whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. You did once, and you did a pretty good job, but all
That
hell
20's
just broke
pretty
loose.
good.
21.
I mean, that's
You're gonna
really
roll.
good too.
You play to win the
21
game.
it is.
Well, I don't have, even if I got a 20, I don't have a plus to anything for
It's
mine.
all right. Just roll your insight. You never know. This is a
Okay.
gambling game here.
Yeah, with that 6. Doing great here.
Still sipping on that Jacob Kool-Aid.
You're still fixing your head, making it on.
Yeah,
Is she like, does she look like a doll stitched together right
Oh God.
No,
We're
you
gonna
do
buy
not
you a
look.
really
You do
pretty
not look like a
filter.
doll
Like
stitched
now?
together.
Like no scars.
You look immaculate
Like the
because you
doll
were
stitched together.
you were
do you want to
literally raised from the Watcher. You are in the best condition,
Beautiful.
moisturized in your lane.
We love to see. Oh, good. Okay, so I don't look absolutely grotesque.
You're not Frankenstein's
Yeah,
average
I'll say, am I
size monster.
Frankenstein?
No, you are not.
Like a
I'm actually
Chucky doll.
Sally.
That's what
Like
happens when we
someday.
have to take you into the city and get fixed up. That's when you get the cool scars.
Came back from that god spa.
Mm.
Baby angel
Increase
spa.
increase your intimidation moving forward.
Damn, today we learned that Helm really cares about exfoliation.
It's important. Get those dead skin cells.
Yeah, man.
He's a licensed esthetician.
Zanryn is gonna go ahead and move to the edge and see if he can see anything that Jacob can't. And considering that there's the finger of this hand down here, I'm gonna see if I can jump onto that.
Go ahead and give me an investigation check. .22. Staring out into the darkness, roughly 60 feet up above. You can see the road into town. You can see the cloakwood behind you. The final bit of wane from the moon, no longer full as it has been for a course of days now. since we've come out of the forest. A pathway lit, illuminated by nature. It looks like a lonely road through mostly meadow and windy paths, small rock outcroppings, a handful of hedgerows. It doesn't look like there's any danger on the horizon. But as always, things lurk in the shadows. It's why there's safety in numbers at nighttime on these main roads. It's gonna be a solid day before arrival at Baldur's Gate. You think to yourself, it'll have to be a choice when you decide to move as a party, how you move.
Seeing that we're really high up, Biddy is gonna kind of just sit down on the ground and be like, well, I don't think anything's coming out of the woods to get us up here if you want to rest for a bit. Because we have a few friends that aren't looking very nice.
Toph will crawl to look over the edge. Why do we need to go to Baldur's Gate anyway? What's so special about that place?
Oh.
It's so far away anyway.
It's where we're gonna get paid for, all the stuff. The
How
meteor
much?
and the guy with the eyes and the.
You think we're really gonna get paid? I don't remember getting told how much we'll get paid. Do you all? I didn't write that down.
We're getting paid?
We're gonna look at Brom.
He's sitting there with a smile on his face. Hopefully they haven't drank it yet.
See? I may not even be there. They probably thought we were dead since we haven't come back yet, and they probably drank it all, and we're not even gonna get paid.
It's in a safety deposit box. The money will be there. It's
How
part
much
of
is
my
it
guild.
anyway? Am I gonna be able to buy a castle or something?
You're not gonna be able to buy a castle, but it'll be able to get you by.
Well, I mean, we kind of saved the entire world. You think they'd throw in a bonus or?
Yeah, it seems like pretty
Castles
lame
for
pay.
everyone.
Wait, we're being paid?
My God has stepped in twice to make sure that we can walk this land.
We can share one castle.
Right, and that kind of
We'll
magic
share
doesn't
one.
come cheap, I'm sure.
Or castles in a cul-de-sac.
Oh, I like cul-de-sacs.
Damn, Brom, your god really wants us to get paid.
In castles.
Rom shakes his head and he realizes that this is why he used the Craigslist board. While accomplishing great tasks come at great folly.
How much money are they giving us at least?
You really put me on the spot there from episode 1 from 7 months ago.
I didn't make note of any actual pricing, if that helps.
It appeared out of a portal, man.
Yeah.
I
was-
wasn't
Any
there
of
for
us
the getting paid
expected to be around this long.
I was about
Yeah.
6 beers deep before I got into how much I was going to pay you for the 3 shot.
I don't think we even remembered how we got into the tavern at the start.
You guys were all on the board. You guys
We're
just
just
took a
there.
job. I didn't even let you guys have agency on it. It was just, you're taking a job inside Baldur's Gate. I want to say that it was around 1,000 gold pieces per person. And that's what I'm gonna lay it on.
That's a castle.
A grand spot.
That's at least a house, a small house maybe. Maybe a maybe
Jacob, you don't need a
small hole in
house.
the
You have a
ground.
necklace.
I mean, I need somewhere to hang my necklace,
So about this contract,
Correct.
I never signed any contract. Is that going to be a problem? I
Yeah,
don't know.
I'll be dead honest. You just kind of came out of nowhere. I'm glad you did, but good news. The other fella kind of disappeared, so if you want his share, I have no problem signing it over to you.
I mean, what was the fellow's name? Silas, I think, right? Did one of you shout Silas at him when he fell into where I came out of? Oh god, he fell back through that. Oh.
I miss him.
No.
He was very enjoyable to be around.
Speaking of, where exactly did you come from? I don't think we ever established that.
Let's worry a little bit less about where I came from and more about what was
We've
there.
got time.
But that's what you said last time we asked.
Give us a story. Toph is gonna roll over on his belly and kind of like flip over and stare at you, his ears flopping over to the other side. I want to hear a story. It's dark and scary up here.
Okay, alright.
I need this animation.
Well, have you heard of the Feywild and the Shadowfell? Okay.
Yes.
They are magical other places. Not quite like here, but at the same time, quite like here. You'll find that when you end up in the Feywild, things are just a little bit stranger. But when you end up in the Shadowfell, things tend to fall with a lot of danger.
Oh.
And here's the thing. What I was hunting with my family in the Shadowfell was not exactly pleasant. And when I fell through, it was on the other side, and... Well, you see, I didn't quite realize that there'd be anyone there on the other side, and, How exactly did he fall through? Did someone trip him? Did he fall? Did he run? I just have to know how culpable I am at this point.
I don't think anyone's gonna miss him. I don't think any, he didn't say anything about having any family or friends or anything like that, so...
No, we don't care. And Toph is actually, you've seen him slowly sneak closer and closer to you, kind of entranced by your story. Is that why you have all these knives that you, and he's like trying to search and figure out where you hide those knives on you that you keep just appearing with?
I'm gonna look around, as I presume you're at this point basically ruffling through my pockets very much without any care for what's going on. It's just
These are my pockets now, yes.
No,
Are you a hunter and you use all of them? Where did you keep them?
Okay, do you mean these? I'm gonna pull out the short sword. Or do you mean these? And in the other hand, I'm pulling out a psychic knife.
His eyes just kind of get entranced on that psychic blade that you have, and his jaw drops open and he's just kind of gaping. He's a mouth breather for a hot second.
To try and kind of confirm the suspicion, I'm gonna start moving around the short sword, seeing that you are still not moving as I move it around, and I'm gonna move around the psychic knife and watch you eyes just follow it. Just okay, so they are indeed talking about that one.
Can I touch it? He's gonna try to hop up a little bit.
I mean, you can try, but manifestations like these work according to intent. The intent of the wielder, so be careful. I'm gonna go ahead and hold the handle out. Don't touch the blade.
Okay. And Toph is nodding his head vigorously and reaches his soft paws out and kind of grabs it along the base where you've got it. Oh, it's real!
RoBear,
I'm going to be afraid to take it on his own, so he's just going to leave it in your hand.
I'm not gonna lie, RoBear. I have no idea whether I can even pass a psychic knife. I'm just gonna presume that I can, because I've made the choice to manifest it at this point.
Sounds good. In
my head, it's a ability that you can manifest and present it in a physical form. And while you can hand this off in a physical form, you can describe it in whichever way you would like. It could go back to looking like a regular knife. It could continue to look very ethereal and magical. But when you pass it off to the next person, it no longer has those properties within their hand. They can't use it in that fashion. That is a connection between you and the blade itself.
That's cool.
Nice.
Okay.
Cool. Can I ask one more question about them? When they impale things, when they hurt things, do they just chill out there for a while, or do they dissipate, or?
They land and then dissipate is what it says according to the manual, I think.
Cool.
And it's also the way I've been playing them, so it's I throw them at a guy, they get stuck to a wall and they disappear and they just flop. So that's the way I've been rolling with them at very least.
This is the way.
This is the way.
Mm.
You must let the blade. Oh god, what's the? Never mind. I'm not gonna spoil a very good episode of Book of Boba Fett for people.
Spoilers. Can I actually hold it?
You can, but again, be careful as I'm handing it to you. When it's in your hands, nothing is gonna happen. But be careful as you grab it. While I'm still holding these things, they are still sharp.
Okay. And he's gonna grab it with kind of both hands, and the blade going downwards as he grips it. It's really light. He's gonna look for a bug on the ground that he could try to stab.
Does the knife turn into like a butter knife Byf after you let go of it? Is it like that smooth?
It's got a child safety device on it.
Very smart of you.
Safety scissors, safety knife, same thing.
Yeah, and you don't have to roll. There's plenty of creepy crawlies out at night, and when you go to attack with it, it's jarring as trying to stab any knife onto the end of rock. But you notice it doesn't have the psychic properties when it goes to it. It stabs like a regular knife. And you have a small beetle on the end of it.
I would like to create a small shish kebab of beetles, so I'm going to go around and stab a whole bunch until they line up on the blade. And you just see Toph going around, playing almost like whack-a-mole with the beetles and just stabbing them in different ways.
This is a sight to behold, and we are staring.
I'm gonna just look at Brom and Biddy and Jacob and Nelson and ask, is this normal? Should we stop the? Did kids this age do this?
That's our little champion.
Look, it's so colorful.
I mean, this kind of behavior is usually indicative of either a genius or a serial killer. So flip a coin.
Why not both?
Nelson reaches
Maybe
out
a
an arm and
serial
tries to animate the bugs on the knife.
Their legs still move.
They're like trying to push each other off the knife.
Kevin number 1, Kevin
They're
number
shooting
2,
off and just-
Kevin number 3.
Just jumping off and running away.
Please feel free in the community for any of our artists to create a beetle with Kevin's head on the front of it, like Beetlejuice. Just manifesting that out in the audience.
Toph will present back to you this blade now bejeweled with colorful beetles all along the blade, dripping with blue and green juice from the beetles.
Thank you. I think.
It works really well. It's a good blade.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You can stab 7 beetles in. That should kill most things, right?
Yeah, 7 beetles. I mean, I'd love to upgrade to an 8 beetle knife one day, but 7 beetles is good for now, for killing minor deities and terrifying old monsters.
That's true.
How many? Okay, here's a better question though. How many beetles could you stab with your sword? I'm gonna very carefully pull the knife back and sort of gingerly hide it from Toph as I evaporate it.
You're trying to distract the small child.
Yes, I'm absolutely trying to distract the small child with the shiny.
Toph will pull out his own blade and just all around this circle kind of in the outskirts of the light of Thomas just be smacking beetles, increasingly frustrated because his blade is a little bit too thick to be able to stab through the beetles, and it's smashing them more than anything. So you will find splatterings of these beetles all around. But at least no one's getting any beetles in them tonight when they sleep.
Grubs up, eh?
Yeah. So Toph will just be in the background, whacking beetles. Hear the subtle sounds of in the background.
You know, Jacob, based on the aptitude of this one to actually kill monsters, and based on everything I've just seen, I do think I'm going to go ahead and ignore the coin toss. Coin toss. Did I say coin toss? Yes, I did. Serial killer. Maybe also genius. That's why we should be scared, but definitely serial killer.
I mean, I probably would lean the same way, given that, you know, the whole, like, bones of his mother thing, but, you know, it's just, it definitely gives a serial killer vibe.
Has anyone had a childhood like Toff's?
It seems like Tom would.
Thomas.
Share with us your backstory.
Thomas hops up over on your lap, feeling slightly neglected.
On whose lap is Thomas hopping up on? Sorry.
Oh, Nelson. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Betty's gonna look back at that. Yeah.
Nelson nods down and gives him a little pet, and then Nelson has seen Toph kind of like stabbing at these bugs, and kind of hunches over and starts pecking at themselves with his own beak, just picking up bugs himself. With Thomas under an arm.
Thomas squirms down. If all three of you going in straight burb mode. it's definitely pack grazing time, herd grazing time. Except he's not particular whether it's a rock or a beetle. He kind of likes all the round things.
It is Fallout regardless.
Looks like those gotcha games when you walk into the pizzeria. Little bouncy balls going down the different little holes.
Hey, Nelson, what actually brought you into necromancy?
Necromancy is how Nelson was raised. It's how I was brought up.
Brought up from the dead. Are you dead?
I come from the woods. Is where I was hatched, and this has been a part of, you know, how I was brought up.
Oh. So you probably have a similar upbringing to Toph.
Yes, except I think Toph was upset when I brought her mother back, or his mother back. Where I'm from, people would have been very excited about that.
I have to ask, we've seen you resurrect things without a second thought that most of us would sit there and not even touch because of the fact that the reverence is too great to... Maybe defile is the wrong word for you. What's your take on necromancy as an art? I feel like it's not quite what we expect. They seem almost more like companions to you than what my experience with any necromancer has been, that they see their resurrected individuals as nothing more than puppets. In the worst cases, I think they look at them as tools or even slaves, but you seem to respect the things that you resurrect.
Where I'm from, we don't... what you call necromancy is... to us is the same as you view healing, or your paladins do. We are all of the earth. We're all from it, and we will all return to it. So what's wrong with keeping loved ones around a bit longer.
It's a bit much. Say what you like about the utility of things. His loved ones aren't there anymore.
Well, I'm sorry you see it that way.
Well, let's call a spade, Nelson. You may seek the utility of what's left here on the mortal plane before that husk of a body seeps back into this earth. There's no Jimmy left in Jimmy. Hell, Jimmy left a long time ago when he got turned into a gnoll, and then what was left was long gone when it's a husk of meat. No will, no agency over itself, no soul. I'll let you speak of utility, but I won't let you masquerade as if they're still there. I'm gonna have to draw the line there.
You attempted to draw the line at me when you first saw me fall out of that portal. And perhaps with good reason. I did pull that stone out of my forehead, and the whispers were pretty nasty at that point, but I proved you wrong. Nelson, are they still there?
Where I'm from, they are, yes. We consider them still there.
So perhaps it's just a difference of opinion. Perspective.
Braun, don't worry. If the day when you finally fall, I will not be the one to pick you back up.
He lets those words soak in. Don't worry. Just as many of us have fallen, the day that you do, he begins to say I, but he stops himself. Helm will put you back together the way that you were. Now, speaking of the dead, it's time to go tend to some unlucky folk. If you want to join me, I could use some help getting a fire together down below.
Toph will stop for a second. I thought we were staying up here because it's safer.
It is. But I'm not going to let ravaging beasts come around here because we have dead bodies and animals laying below. I'm going to go on the pyre.
And I guess it'd be nice to not leave Reeves alone.
Just gonna say, I took a look out towards the road. By the looks of things, it's clear if we travel in a group, it'll be safer. But in the darkness, it's impossible to know exactly what's going to come for you. If Reeves is down there, I suggest we go and, well, keep him company. He's just lost everyone. There's not even a horse left.
Brom gets up, begins to make his way down.
Biddy's gonna get up and follow.
We're going to stand up, look and see if Toff is still smashing bugs, and sort of gesture that we should also head down.
Okay. Well, one moment. And Toph is going to take a small moment and just look back up at Nelson. Did you really think you were doing a good thing with my mom?
Yes, without a doubt. You cared about her very much, and she meant something to you, so...
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong about that, but... she has a hard time letting go. I know you were trying to be nice. So thank you.
I remember what you told me after it happened.
Yeah.
It was confusing. You seemed to want to resurrect Reese's friend with my powers.
Well, sometimes my mom is real mean. She's not... I mean, she's my mom. And you kind of see that he tucks the skull of his mother back a little bit behind his bag, a little bit, kind of pushing it out of the way and out of sight. Sometimes she isn't always very nice. So it can be scary to talk to her. I don't know. But she's my mom, so I have to love her.
It's of course okay to be scared, but I don't think she would ever hurt you.
I don't think it's me. I would be more worried for you all. Because she didn't want to help me save you all. I haven't talked to her as much because we've been having a lot of fun. I don't think she really likes that. So...
We had a fight in the woods where she came out to help us, didn't we?
well, help me. I just don't want you all to get hurt. And if I at least am the one dealing with it, I can help control it a little bit more. And I guess as long as you think you can control it as well, it shouldn't be a problem. I don't mind if you did it to me. In fact, I think it would be really cool if you did bring me back from the dead and you could have me do really cool things and then things could stab me but it wouldn't kill me and then I could glow in the dark and I could lead the way and be like a cool night parade, which would be really awesome. I'm okay with that. But I also know that I wouldn't hurt you.
I can promise I would only ever do that as a last resort. A very, very, very last resort.
Okay.
Because it does sound like a lot of fun.
We'll deal then. You can raise me from the dead, but maybe ask me for my mom. Okay?
Deal.
And Toff is gonna stick out his paw. I guess we have to go down.
Nelson grabs Toff's hand and gestures to Thomas to come over and jump on his shoulder.
Toff is going to misinterpret that and assume that you were inviting him on your shoulder. And is going to hop on top.
I don't know if I can sustain that.
I'm a small bunny. How heavy do you think I am?
I mean, I'm a weak. There's a negative in front of that stat. Is all I'm saying.
Frail, gentle body. It's just like
less than Thomas.
I'm
So big.
Because I don't know. Okay.
Hold on.
Nelson widens his bird stance and puts a hand on either side of you, holding you on his shoulders, Thomas and Toff, and starts on down, following the others.
It's like an animal lighthouse at that point. It's fantastic.
We're our own zoo.
It's a light sauce based turkey on top of a rabbit on top of a kangaroo.
Oh my gosh, all the
Thomas is our
blood.
headlight.
Oh god, yeah, there's so much blood. Oh.
Oh my god.
I like the bit up there. Is that from me? Is it bitty blood?
Bitty blood and a lot of scorched knoll blood up there.
Mmm,
Is
coagulated.
the fire still going up there?
That's a word, coagulated.
There's definitely some simmering cracklings up there. No doubt about it.
Zanryn is going to pull out a psychic knife and very briefly try and find the place where there seems to have been the most viscera, the most death as it would be from that particular fight. And he's going to draw the same symbols as was done previously. A circle with images and glyphs that nobody can quite understand. And then when everything is done again, stab it through. It's going to disappear.
Nelson's eyes go wide, looking at all the corpses, and he gets kind of excited, and then he stops. You can tell he like stops himself, and then looks up at Toff, like almost asking for permission.
And you can see him and his ears almost flop excitedly to watch this magic. Yeah, you should do it.
By the light of Thomas and his cerebral pincushion holes, you can see Reeves is just over hanging on the one horse that is surprisingly still alive. Just kind of in a trance, combing its mane, staring back over at the rest of the carnage as the owlbear eviscerated, as well as Hobbs, Shaw, and Arthur torn to bits. Just kind of sobbing, repeating the same motion. It's all right, girl. It's all right. It's all right. Brom's gonna slide down. Fuck. He's gonna let Reeves be, but he's gonna go and walk around and take the scene in for himself. See just how bad these individuals are.
Zanryn's gonna jump down and make his way to Ricky. And just sort of stand there and sort of do what can be done to sort of give any kind of dignity in death to this poor owlbear that has been horribly massacred.
Old Ricky's in pieces as well.
Biddy's gonna look down at the blood that was from her. And she's feeling really distraught seeing that. So she's gonna kind of bend down and touch it. And like just move some of the dried blood between her fingers. And she's gonna start just kind of talking to herself. And it was really close again. It's not yet time, and I still have stuff to do. And she's just gonna get up and kind of dust herself off and look around.
if you look up. Not because you're short, but because I'm on the Kinku. You're gonna see Toph's ears kind of flop over you. Are you okay?
Yeah. Well, better than I was, to say the least.
I hope so. Is that all your blood?
I don't know. I died.
That's fair.
Depends on
It's
what
a lot.
occurred afterwards.
There's a good chunk of burnt old parts up there too.
She's gonna kind of look. So it's not all mine. That's a lot of blood for a little gnome, eh?
Hmm. It is a lot. I'm glad you're okay, because that's a lot to lose. Are you feeling lightheaded still?
No, I feel great. I feel like I came from a spa of the gods.
Is that what happens when you die? You get to go to a spa?
Actually, whenever I died, it was just nothing. I don't recall much. I was out and I was awake.
Oh. That's kind of
But-
scary, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, it's terrifying. The idea of not coming back.
Yeah.
But thank God we've got Brom, she's gonna kind of yell it. His ability to have a god that is willing to save me twice.
Maybe when we get to Baldur's Gate, then we can go to his his building, the temple, and we could give him some food or something as thanks.
I think that that'd be delightful. I'd also like to give my thanks.
Brom's just going to shake his head where he's kneeling. Doesn't have the magical strength, no 5th level spells. Can't help raise these bodies in rough condition. Too far gone and too long dead to be able to revivify. Just shakes his head as he keeps making his rounds, as it slowly sets in that he's not going to be able to help. Hasn't approached Reeves about it yet, but he's slowly making his way finally over to the owlbear. Now on the other side, near Zanryn. I don't think I'm going to be able to help any of them, Zanryn.
With everything that happened, I'm just astounded we even have Betty. I really did think it was all over at certain points, you know? And that was one of them.
Time to count our blessings, indeed.
A shame about this beast. Could have used a good owlbear. You know, I had a very strange niece at one point. Very strange indeed, because she claimed she could talk to these. Not a typical condition for us. But then one day she came along and lo and behold she was riding one. And from that day onwards, none of us bothered to question. Seemed logical enough. I only wish I had her talent in the moments before any of this happened. Well,
Color me not surprised on that. These beasts are smart. Smarter than what they let on.
And the
But I've
Feywild
seen-
does do strange things.
No doubt. I've seen the ones that have tongues that can speak with animals. At first you think it's just a connection, then you realize it's a bit more than that. Some have that
Like a-
talent. I wish I did.
It's like a whisper.
Not much different than you in the back of our heads.
Yes. Maybe not. What do we do about him? I motion over towards Reeves, who of course is still standing there.
Reeves has a right to take that horse, that carriage, and go wherever the hell he wants to. As far as this covered one over here, it's probably where we'll start the fire. Drag it off to the side of the road. Use it for kindling and sustenance, then we don't have to drag off many old branches here to get us started.
I don't argue about that, and even if Reeves did want to ride off into the night and just forget about all this, I can understand. But I still think that even if we need to stay for a bit, we should discourage him from that. Like, what happened? We had 2 entire groups that met on the road, both armed. Granted, we were probably more capable than these poor souls. And all of them ended up dead. If Reeves goes out alone, I don't know if he's going to make it.
We owe him at least an escort into town.
That I think we can agree.
No doubt. No doubt. An agreement on that. I'm gonna go head over to Reeves and let him know and see if he's in an agreement about taking the
last
better
question.
coach out of the 2.
One last question, if I may. The moon, up top. Finally starting to wane just a little bit.
Aye.
Did Helm, to the Watcher, something to do with that? Seems to be a little unusual as of late, and this is the only thing that's changed it.
Your guess is as good as mine, but in my heart of hearts, I believe so. I do.
Well, I'll keep
Haley
my ears
Aries was
ground.
inside that forest for a reason, and she was hunting monsters. And she had no less than 8 silvered hatchets. That was a warrior prepared. Granted, we ran off and lost. Was never able to reconnect back up. But I have a feeling she may have been hunting in them woods for a while. Whatever caused this everlasting full moon, well, might not mean much to everyday commoner. Seems like it meant a whole lot to whatever creeps around in these woods. So the Watcher seemed fit to fix that for the time being. I can tell you what, when that cycle comes back around, you're damn right I'll be watching.
Do you think it had anything to do with that thing that was nearly fully manifested?
I think what goes bump in the night has a lot of connections. What was in them woods wasn't right. But your guess is as good as mine. For that, I wish I had Haley Aries' brain to pick for a little bit longer. But like everyone else, we enter the woods, we leave the woods, we forget about the woods. It's all until someone goes back, goes on a deer hunt, goes to chop some firewood, goes to take the children fishing, when it all comes back to roost.
Well, I'll start working on the wagon. I'll leave Reeves to you.
Aye.
I'm gonna move and slowly start, untying any bits that may have still attached what's left of Ricky to the wagon and seeing what I can do to sort of lighten the load and take away useful things that are still there and haven't been destroyed. just generally manage things.
Biddy's gonna hop down. Boop. I don't know where the most shallow parts are. So our fire's over here? Or have we not started one?
Not
I haven't
yet.
figuratively started one yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Just gonna kind of hang out between you two. Well, are we starting a fire anywhere? It's getting cold.
I'm gonna just look over at Jacob and sort of look at the wagon and think, handy.
Jacob's gonna hang out up top here for a minute before he comes down. He's gonna just look back at the spot where Biddy died and where he had called out to his patron, and just kind of just stand there, look at the smoldering ashes for a minute, and just kind of shrug his shoulders and, well, thanks for nothing. And he's gonna spit on the ashes as he hops down and then goes over to what'd you say about a fire?
Oh, I mean, it's getting cold, so I think we should probably start one.
Mm-hmm.
We could use one off here to the side of the road.
So he'll walk over and break a piece off this carriage and use it to start a fire.
Yeah.
And it's already banged up anyways.
You know, it's not our fucking choice, Jacob. Reeves, I'm assuming you're going to want to take the better of the two wagons. He doesn't speak, he just kind of nods his head. Yeah, that's where we're going to start the burn pile.
Well, if we're starting it here, I'm going to move.
Awful, go ahead and start grabbing a few of like the gnolls' bodies and dragging them over to that area. Where do you want me to put these?
Just put them on the cart,
Okay.
and we can just move the whole thing over all at one time.
Gross.
Nelson looks over to Braun. We could have 2 horses, if you'd like.
Looks back over at Nelson. They already don't like animals inside the city, let alone undead ones. If I could pass that thing off in a certain way, if it were to help Reeves out, I'd let you do it. But not today. He'll be fine on one.
So the owlbear then.
Then we can all ride it.
We don't want the party getting exhausted again.
Yeah. We haven't had any sleep.
Brom is going to step up. And he's going to get up, you know, about torso level with you because you're so tall.
He's stupid tall.
And he's going to stare up. I'm going to tell you once. That's it. If Reeves wants his owlbear back, then that's fine. You do what you want with it. But you don't do a damn thing unless you ask him.
Do you want me to ask him, or do you want to ask him? I don't want to pose it wrong and then you get mad at me because I...
Put your big boy pants on, Nelson. It doesn't save the world. You don't need Mommy and Daddy to speak for you anymore. As Brom's gonna stomp off and continue grabbing knoll parts.
Damn, son.
So Nelson turns his bird head over to Reeves and, Reeves, if you'd like, I could bring back your owlbear and horse to pull the wagons.
I thought Brom, the short fella, said he couldn't bring him back. He can bring him back.
They'll be back, but what I've learned from my companions is they might not be the same to you.
Well, yeah, they're gonna have some scars. That's all right. That's
No scars.
chicks will dig it. Oh yeah, they'll look gnarly. You can bring them back.
Well, like I said, my friends have told me that they may not be the same as you remember them.
Well, yeah, I can't even see his face. He's in pieces.
If you'd like me to, I can.
Yeah, I'd like to talk to my friends again. Tell them I'm sorry.
All right. Nelson's going to reach out his hands, kind of look up to the sky. He sees the three corpses of Reeves's friends, concentrates on them.
Hobbs, Arthur, and Shaw.
Hobbs, Arthur, and Shaw. All getting zomboed.
Man.
Need a snack to observe this. Hold on.
Oh, Hobbs, you coughing up a lung over there, buddy? I knew it. They had enough magic to get. Oh, what the is that? Oh my God! What the you do to him?
Oh no.
You're welcome.
He looks like something thrown out of a chamber pot. What the your problem, man? You said you could bring him back. As he mostly resembles Chet in his weird science form halfway through the movie. Very Golgathon shit demon-like almost. Just a pile. Very much a lemur at this point of a zombie. It's kind of hard to take form of where they're at the moment.
A shit pile lemur.
I didn't want this. What? You said you could bring him back. God damn it! I trusted you. You turned him into this.
You said you wanted to talk to them. I didn't say they could talk back.
No, you. As he pulls his crossbow out and he puts a bolt in the back of Hobbs's head. Oh, what the fuck? Put him down! Put him down! This ain't right! He is going to start unhooking his horse. Get the out of here. This is bullshit.
I don't think I can unsummon them, right? They're there.
You can drop your spell at any point in time.
Oh, okay. I didn't think it was like a channeled thing. I thought it was like, well, that's done.
You have agency to
In
drop
come the
your.
zombies.
Got it. Got it. All right, then seeing his panic, I will release them.
No, he is saddling up that horse. He is done.
I'm gonna go over towards Reeves, and see if I can try and persuade him to stay for his own safety. Reeves, hold on. I know what just happened. I know everything that just happened. But keep in mind.
Reeves, do you want that horse or do you want this horse? And I animate the other horse.
Oh no.
When you animate the other horse, he does not bother to listen to Zanryn, please.
I'm just gonna.
Mother. He is gone.
You hear Biddy just like slow clapping in the distance. Well done. Very entertaining to say the least.
I'm just gonna stare over at Nelson. Next time, please learn from that encounter, and what you have learned is that maybe tell them a little bit more about what's going to really happen when you resurrect their friends. But also, did you have to resurrect the horse?
I gave him a warning about his friends. He was definitely warned.
I've
And
told you this.
This horse won't get tired. This horse is better.
It's also missing an eye socket, and
It's got
several
3
ribs.
legs.
Pony! Toff goes up and nuzzles it.
Nelson, all I would say is that there are many places out in the world. Where you are from, where I'm from, where Brom is from, every single one of these places leads to a different view and path in life. Yours happens to be one with great power. One that genuinely means you can change the world. But just because you can change the world doesn't mean you always should. Sometimes the best thing you can do is wait, stop, think, and consider. This might be one of those moments. Not everybody views the way that you view the world as the way that things should be. Oh my god.
That
Oh
is
god.
What is that?
Well,
And suddenly a Tarrasque has descended. A skeletal Tarrasque has descended.
Nelson's way more powerful than we realized.
Oh no.
Have
He's
we
summoned his
Nelson-
own greater demons.
Oh god.
And you insert from a file instead of a token.
Ding.
And lo and behold, the Tanaruk is yet again back, except this time it's got a horse. Oh boy.
Zanryn, I think I'm able to show some compromise and middle ground and have respect for you all and your wishes, but I'm not going to just stop being who I am.
That's not what I'm asking. I would never ask you to not be yourself. I defend your ability to be yourself as well. But oftentimes, being who we are also has to come with the acknowledgement that other people in the world may not understand, or that the way we are is something that they won't understand immediately. We need to always leave room for people to learn and grow. People will take a moment to learn and grow, especially when they think of you. It's not normal in the places we've come from for death to be so natural. For you, it's I presume at least, a part of life.
I understand they can take time. I bet Reese is doubting his decision on which horse to take right now.
Be that as it may, giving people time to grow is perhaps the important thing. There's always room in the world for a little more understanding.
Well, let me just say, Zanryn, that the Nelson you knew a week ago would have resurrected all of them without asking. So I think we're making some progress.
I think so. Baby steps. Which, I grant, maybe is the wrong phrase. Baby steps for a kenku or an owl, it's all very relative. It's different, isn't it?
What do you think we should name this horse friend?
I think Skeletor would be nice.
I'm gonna
Skeletor.
She's
I'm
just
gonna
leaning on that
gesture.
rock back there, listening to all of this.
I'm
Very
gonna
intrigued.
gesture over to Biddy and be like, yeah.
It's a good name. Thought of it myself.
Why so scary?
Nelson, have you seen it?
Yeah, it looks beautiful. What
Exactly.
about Meredith?
That's a beautiful, very regal name. I think that it's very fitting. Absolutely. Meredith.
Off, Jacob, Brom, have you seen our new horse? What should it be named?
That's what I fucking think.
No,
As he grabs a couple of the extra horse blankets from the side saddle, starts throwing it over the abomination in his eyes.
What about Daffodil?
Jacob bends over and looks at the legs. Tripod.
Did you want to pull the cart, Brom?
No. I don't want
Okay,
any
good.
of their personal property.
Actually, have we ever named one Corey?
Oh, I like that name.
You know, we've had our
Lord.
Kevin and we've had our Ben. Should we have a Corey?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's my vote. Toff is gonna raise his hand. I like that one.
But he's just gonna smile at Toff.
We can combine them. Meredith can be its middle name. Corey Meredith.
Ori, Meredith, and what did you say it was, Brom?
Corey Meredith.
Rolls off the.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that.
I control myself.
Corey Meredith, the third. Three. All right, then it's settled.
Mm-hmm. I think that's great and catchy. And one day we can give them a nice nameplate and a stable and an apple.
You know that thing falls apart in like an hour.
Well, we
Right.
can put it back together.
I mean, technically, Nelson could just keep raising it, right? Just pick a different bone.
Plus, when you can see through it, it helps me learn how they're made, and that's pretty cool.
Kind of reflexively, without noticing it, in his spell casting, Nelson imprints the name onto the horse Zombo and
Oh no.
kind of instinctively sets it to respond to all of his friends in the party. So anybody could potentially call to it.
That's the most branding I think I've ever seen.
This group never gets old. It's always a good time.
Be a lot more innocent if it was our own damn property.
Well, considering that everybody's dead and the other one has run off, I would
We
say
let him off because he turned his friends into a pile of living. That's what.
I asked him like you said, Brom.
Yeah. And you still ain't got it figured out. I want nothing to do with that hellscape carriage.
I'm gonna walk up next to Nelson. I'm just gonna say, give it time.
Biddy's also gonna walk up next to Nelson and kind of like whisper,
Well, to be fair, I think nobody's going to try to steal this horse from us, at least. I think it's good.
Nelson just kind of looks down thankfully and puts like an arm around Biddy's shoulders.
it's like a far reach. she without you noticing, but she stands up a little straighter to try to get more height so that it's like, it's fine.
Just the tips of his fingers brush you. It's kind of weird.
Brom's gonna cast second level ceremony over on the side where the remains of the dead may be put to rest. May their bodies not be used for any more bullshit or unwillingness left on this material plane. May they not have to haunt as a never-ending beast of burden for the rest of their existence. In Helm, I give all the praise. Let these poor, unfortunate souls rest. As he grabs his shield, I'm going to bed. And Brom's grumpy, past 10 o'clock dwarven ass slowly begins to make up that slick rock face. Athletics with disadvantage.
Nice.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
He's able to get his
Angry
hobbly
Brom.
little butt up.
Angry Brom gets shit done.
He's going to take his butt back up to the top where there's still a little bit of that moonlight that struck Biddy, still faintly. He's going to go up there and lay down with his shield.
Well, if we ever want to make it out of this area, I think we should all try to get some rest. Still got about a day's travel worth.
Yeah. Toff is actually going to look and see if he can find any of the last music boxes.
You don't even have to roll on that. You got the whole cart full of them.
I would like to put one in my bag, and then I'd like to take one, and he'll take it up the arm thing, mountain, whatever it is. And he's going to take it apart tonight, kind of studying how it works. Just
Go
trying
ahead
to
and roll a
understand the mechanics.
do you have Tinker's tools by any chance?
I do not. No.
Is that something that you Toph would have? You would think?
I think so. His goal is one day to open his own toy store. So
Oh,
yes.
of course. So yeah, so you would have some Tinker's tools. Go ahead and just make a roll with your proficiency check, plus your dexterity.
That is the most wholesome shit I've ever heard in my life. Oh my god.
Toff's toys.
repair shop full circle.
All right, and then we'll add the proficiency, so that'll be a 12. This is new to me. I'm gonna probably maybe grab another one because I'm gonna mess this one up.
You don't necessarily mess it up. It's just you're beginning to figure it out. It's like the first hour with the Rubik's Cube in your life, and you're like, you know what, this is really cool, and it's mechanical, and oh man, how it makes this part, and those little parts that you don't understand. It's fun. It's something for you to study.
Cool. That's what I'd like to do. Kind of at his bedtime. Like, he'll join Brom up at the top, and you can kind of hear him picking away at the metal and pulling parts of it. And every now and then you'll hear like a ping of the sound still kind of echoing in this small little wooden box as he figures out the mechanics of how the wheels turn and register and the twisting of it to make it all work. The little pop-up of the little pony that dances in a circle. Oh, there's the music box. I can hear it. I hear it.
Creeping. What is everyone else doing? Now that you have a carriage with a very undead horse, with a small to medium-sized horse blanket draped over its shoulders, Nelson, I will allow you, in your handiwork, to go ahead and roll a spell attack. And I will set the DC at an 18 for you to Frankenstein that leg back. Oh!
Damn, son. Where'd you find that leg?
And out of the corner of his eye, kind of sees the last of what do we pick? Corey Maribeth, right? Corey, what did we say? Meredith.
Corey
Yeah.
Meredith.
Nailed it. First try. Sees the leg there kind of laying half underneath the carriage and gestures towards it, and it kind of like molds into the earth as like a layer of mushrooms and moss that ripple over towards the main body of the horse, and then become kind of like a stalagmite, right? Yeah, stalagmite are the bottom ones. Yeah. Like a stalagmite, and attaches to the rest of the horse body as the fourth leg.
You could say stalactite or stalagmite. No one's gonna question you.
I think
No one knows.
Tights are the ones that hang to the ceiling because they hold tight to the ceiling.
No
Stalagmites
one
are the ones on the
knows.
ground because they might one day reach the top.
that's exactly what I did in my head.
Like the
Hell
T
yeah.
things and the M's are up.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
And I instantly forgot again.
This is the science portion.
I'm a
of tonight's
goldfish.
game.
No one actually knows. It's science.
Okay, no, here's the way of looking at it. Stalagmite and stalactite, the different letters, the T and the M. What does the T do? It's got like the roof at the top and then it hangs down. What does the M do? It's a pair of like peaks. So it's them going upwards.
This is what your
Damn.
YouTube army is here for. This one shining moment.
Oh. Yeah.
What would you like to do with your undead stagecoach of stolen goods?
Sell them.
Are they really stolen or are they just reappropriated?
They were abandoned. That's not stolen.
Are they inherited?
It certainly depends on how folks feel in the morning.
Has anyone looked inside yet? I don't even know what's in there outside of a couple music boxes.
Yeah, me either.
I'm gonna look inside the coach and take a look to see if there is anything there. And roll perception-y type things. And I think I also got a magic item E from chat.
No.
Same.
I like how you preface this.
I'm looking and I deserve something
I'm
nice.
looking, DM, inside the stagecoach with the item E.
With the sign on it that says this thing.
RoBear proceeds to right-click delete his magic item list.
An item E's worth of homemade lye soaps. Ready to be sent into the market, Robert Paulson style.
I don't know what that means.
May he rest.
If I were to look having 2 magic item E's, what would I?
Two
Sorry.
pristine music boxes, unknolled. Now go ahead and roll an investigation check on the inside of this carriage as you begin to investigate for the first time.
I am so sorry.
There
it is.
One, I love that you have the reverse dice now.
Yeah.
The no. I mean, Jacob,
That's
of
so
all
rude.
of all people, you should be well acquainted with the inside of this. Now, uninterrupted, allowed to rummage through wherever you would like.
Do these carriages have like a compartment under the seats?
Maybe.
Because that's where I would be looking.
Go ahead and so you're looking, investigating. Strictly, you want this nat 20 for under the seats. You need to direct on the investigation check. You got to direct where it's at.
Well, I mean, anything else would be in plain view, right? So I would be investigating inside of any sort of compartment that's closed within there, whether it's, you know, if the seats are, or if there's like a box inside of there that's like attached to it or something, just something that would be closed and not plain view.
Your choice is to investigate the front seats or the inside of the carriage.
The front seats, you mean the seats inside of here?
Yeah, that's what I thought. You're talking about the seat. You're saying anything on the inside. I thought you were talking about the front seats, like up here.
No, I'm talking like there's usually seats in the carriage.
Yeah,
and I would
okay.
imagine that
There's okay.
underneath of those, maybe they have like a lift up
Yeah,
seat
yeah.
on them or something.
I got you.
Yeah.
I understand what you're putting down now. I thought you were talking about like the highwaymen's up here in the front.
Oh no.
Oh
no.
yeah, I did too, because in the back of my brain it was just an empty spot where a giant gnoll would sleep. Like,
Zanryn, you're able to do a good job of gathering up music boxes and kind of clearing off as you pulling them one by one out. In total, there's about 30 of these things left after the one that Toff has pulled out. Jacob, the one thing that you notice is they've definitely been using this to bed down Jimmy for a while. There's a lot of pet hair and dander from that gnoll in there, and this thing hasn't been cleaned out in a hot minute. It smells rather gnollish inside. You're able to open up the seats that flip up in the back. I want you to roll a 1d10.
Nine.
One second while I pull up the generator. find a small lockbox underneath the back. Inside that lockbox, there are several manifests. And just kind of parsing through, you're looking at paperwork they need to go in and out of Baldur's Gate. Paperwork that will actually get you in between the front gates and Lower City. And then you flip to the very back and you see there's a piece of something that you don't think that they understood what it was, but they held on to it. There's a spell scroll. I need you to roll a 1d20.
$16.
16. Fourth level spell. Reltham's Psychic Lance.
Ooh.
Ooh.
You can unleash a shimmering lance of psychic power at a creature you see within range. Alternatively, you can utter a creature's name and that target is within range. The spell target, if you can see it. If the name target isn't within range, the lance dissipates without effect, but it must make an intelligence saving throw. On a fail, that takes 7d6 psychic damage is incapacitated until the start of your next turn.
Da-dang.
Looking at
Double
this,
dang.
you think to yourself, there is no way that they understood what this piece of paper that they had. Probably picked it up flea marketing somewhere, saw the runic glyphs on it, thought it looked important, and threw it back in with their manifests. So you tuck it back. It is a one and done spell scroll.
Got it.
You go and flip over the seat in the front. That's just from your D20. Go ahead and roll me another D10.
10.
10. I give it a 10.
Good dang, good dang.
I was just imagining the Hicks with a spell scroll. Psychic Lance. Sounds like that mushroom we snorted at Geraldine's birthday party.
Oh gosh.
Hey Arthur, what do you think these picture thingies on here mean?
This is a pretty good voice.
Glyph? I ain't heard no glyph.
Look at this. Look at this hick accent on Byf.
Look at this.
I don't claim that it's great, but I did marry someone from Tennessee, so maybe that's why.
Welcome to Americanese.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Jacob, you find a fine tapestry rolled up underneath the front. One incredibly ornate and far from the style of anywhere near this region. As you give it a good pop, it stays floating in midair.
Ha! You've become Aladdin. You've got a genie and a magic rug. When do you get your monkey, sir. Come on.
Show me the world, Jacob.
You have the large. It's one of the large ones.
The 6x9.
Yeah, it's the big boy.
Was that the? What is that?
Ooh.
Was that got a back bench? Is that like a 9-seater?
It's got a Hemi.
It's
A sedan.
That you can remove your item E.
Okay. Both of them?
No, it's just one.
Okay, cool. They had a spell scroll and a flying carpet in this place?
Merchants for a long time. And the one thing I know about hillbillies that hoard and collect, there are hidden nuts where you wouldn't believe.
There's 8 more flying carpets rusting on his front lawn.
Matter of fact, Aerosmith used that one in 1984.
The flying carpet has a flying speed of 30. Does it have its own flying speed?
They turned all flying speeds into walking speeds on like everything.
Right. Well, no, it has a flying speed of 30 or walking speed of 30, whatever you mean. I'm just asking, is that a separate speed from my personal speed?
No, it's whenever you're on it, that's your speed.
Okay, I was just wondering if they were to fly 30 feet and then jump off and run 30 feet, if that works or not. Didn't know if those were independent of each other.
No, because we do it like a mounted, like a mount.
Got it.
Zanryn, with your 12. Did you see Jacob pick apart this wagon and all the hidden spots? You unfortunately find the junk, my friend. You find the key ring with 1,000 skeleton keys on it that lead to nowhere. The old banged up cash register that, while looks very cool and soda fountainish, it's probably got about 1,000 more hours before this thing will ever work again properly. It's gonna take some serious time. And you do find the extra axle underneath the actual wagon. There is another wheel underneath.
Well, I'm gonna hold on to those skeleton keys by the looks of things. And you said it was the register?
It's an old time soda fountain cash register. You know, one that's real nice, one that reminds me of back home. It's just I didn't sit around the time to get it, worked out. I'm gonna put it in that old dime store that I've been piecing out and putting in the back of my yard. I'm kind of making like a theme to my 1920s growing up. This old dime store, kind of soda shop looking. I just ain't got around to the time.
You could throw it in that trailer that we put on Airbnb, and the tourists will think it's real mighty cute.
I sure would love that sign.
Can I try and break it? Is there anything inside this thing? Can I try and break it open? The register, that is.
Oh, it's already broke open. I mean, there's nothing. There's nothing in there. It, a matter of fact, it won't close right now. Got a little geek. A little spring keeps kicking it out. It's in bad shape.
Dang. I'm gonna go ahead and pick up the skeleton keys for later. Actually, this is stupid question. Can I see if there is anything worth keeping within the skeleton key bundle? Because I'm presuming this is a massive bundle of keys.
And it looks like a bunch of junk, but There's a couple of them that look pretty cool. They got some ornate designs on them. The other half look like a landlord's old keyring.
I'm gonna go ahead and pocket the keys because at this point, why not? You know. Maybe.
If anything, it might make for a good red herring in a disguise down the road.
Precisely. Looking around at the contents of the thing, I'm gonna go ahead and can I ascertain what the total value of the remaining music boxes is?
What's your background, Zanryn?
Less of a rogue that deals in petty theft where necessary, but it's
What's
one of
your
those moments
official
where
D&D
it's,
background?
The soul knife. Oh, actually,
No,
you
this
mean
is your background. Yeah.
Let me
Music
see if I've
box
got that in my
collector.
notes. Music box. Yeah, right. Yeah. Let me take a look real quick. See if I can find that in my character sheet. There we go.
amateur assistant to Antiques Roadshow.
Yeah.
The only thing I have left in my description from way back in the one shot is that I'm a criminal of Baldur's Gate. That's the only thing I've got is feature criminal contact.
Yes, feature criminal. This is something you can absolutely use. You know what these things can fence for, and they are mechanical of nature, and in any rate, they are a great way to keep time, and that has value as well as the actual parts inside. Do you, looking at these, at least 10 gold piece on the market fenced, probably 15 to 20 retail.
Can I have a forgery kit. Can I forge something that implies ownership and the ability to sell these?
You absolutely can go into those manifests that Jacob has and take over that bill of goods.
I don't believe I'm going to be sharing them outright.
Here's a better question. Do I know that he has the manifests?
No, you don't.
At least the document that gives free passage between the gates. I don't know that I would necessarily share that. I might just stuff that in my pocket.
What a...
Yes, I mean, if I don't know that he's got anything to do with it, I mean, you know, I might, yeah.
I
He
probably
burnt,
toss the other papers out.
he burnt this country music award, and he's he's taking it home with him too. So you're throwing out the other manifest. So you're keeping, you're keeping papers of access, but you're throwing out the bill of goods.
Yeah. Anything that's not necessarily, I don't know, necessarily useful in terms of gaining access to parts of the city, or obviously the flying carpet's hard to hide, but it's a giant carpet.
Carpet ain't on the books, man.
You got a few carpets in that neck.
I don't care about the manifest and the goods that are in the cart necessarily. I think for me the access is more valuable.
Yeah, so I mean, you're going to be able to find those papers that are getting tossed out.
Okay.
You can absolutely use your background to switch those the bill of goods over.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick, considering that no one else has use for them, and that at current it's just sort of a net loss to everyone if they're just left in the middle of the woods.
It's getting Lord of the Flies down here on the fucking pathway real quick.
I mean, we're taking the coach. That's coming with us, you know. Might as well.
Might as well sell the shit.
We burned all the bodies, and the only reason they were even collecting the music boxes was for Jimmy. So, I mean,
this is my reminder as your DM to let you know that you are not inside a video game, and there are consequences for your actions over the course of inside of a world.
What are they going to do? Put him in jail for forgery?
Yes.
Find out.
the next episode.
Those could absolutely happen. But I imagine he's probably better than getting busted, since he is highly proficient. Anyone else ransacking your now very murder hoboed scene?
No, Biddy wants to go to sleep.
Biddy heading back up top to the structure. Anyone else?
Nelson gestures for Thomas kind of like uses his wings to jump off the cliff and fall down onto to Corey Meredith's head. Kind of there, yeah. Like a dead turkey headlight. You know those.
Isn't this getting Hellraiser?
And with our sentry in place, Nelson kind of follows back to also rest, having only had a few small beetles since combat and feeling rather tired.
Anyone else?
Guess I would find a good place to put my locket, so I could. Anybody want to come inside?
Toff's still awake, Will. The idea of a pillow fort sounds way more comfortable.
Do you still have tea?
Yeah, you got everything you want.
Tea?
Oh.
And that's all it's going to take for me to walk over towards the amulet.
Yeah, Nelson remembers that big plate of delicious grubs and gross dirt bugs and 180s towards the invitation.
All right. After you guys get your grub on, begin to hit the hay, go ahead and click that long rest on your character sheet. Who all has gone inside the locket and who is sleeping outside?
Inside.
Inside the locket.
If you're about to bring out danger, I'm going inside the locket suddenly.
I don't think that's how it works.
No, you get, it's your choice. I mean, you would go for creature comforts, correct? You've had a long arduous day.
Get me away from everything.
I'd probably put it somewhere safe in the hole of a tree or like buried under a pile of rocks or something.
All right. Oh, you guys get a good rest inside the locket. Waking up, go ahead and roll a Constitution saving throw. $19, Biddy on the high. Waking up. Feeling slightly refreshed. You're going to be able to take that first step outside the locket and see the sun shining out on the Coastway Pass. Looking out over the rubble pile that is now burned to the ground. and your undead carriage to the side. Brom is gone. And I will let you guys go and take your restroom break and go refill your beverage.
Made him angry, Nelson.
Oh no.
No.
Audi 5000. Thank you guys for joining us. Appreciate y'all. We've gotten so much backstory on these characters now. I love it. Man, they got murder hobo on the scene, man. They ransacked this place. I love it. Watch this when they come back. Dun dun dun. Let there be light. And just like that, there was. The blood looks so much worse during the daytime.
What do you mean? It's like night. It's autumnal.
Looks like a little peaceful way down the coast will pass.
God. Jacob's fault.
You really thought Nelson was going to deck by Reeves? Oh, hell no. Nelson is scary AF.
7
No.
foot tall.
7 foot tall, has a command over the undead. Reeves has a command over a bow that is pulled by string. He's just a country boy.
Thank God I'm a country boy.
He's lucky that Nelson is a nice individual.
I mean, Nelson asked. and insisted several times that they would not be the same. Several times.
But, you know, I mean, that's Nelson doesn't have this grasp of common
Sure. I just
that
thought
these
Reeves
folks
may
have.
I thought Reeves might have understood it a little more because he saw me in combat, but maybe it didn't click when you see all of your dead friends.
He's pretty traumatized, so he's grasping at straws, you know.
Yeah.
All right. We're back.
Yeah. Lucky, I watched all the cards get revealed today on stream. They are gorgeous. I love a cyberpunk themed look at futuristic Japan. It's fantastic.
Mhm.
Even
That
if I
lore
didn't
dropped
know
today.
what completed was. Completed.
Like Tamio.
Cheers, the completed.
Tomio is completed.
I'm just happy that they did things in order and they released the story and then the cards so it all fit. I got to read the story, do it, and then the cards came out. I'm like, yay, you were narrative 1, 2, 3. I'm very proud of you, Wizards.
Yeah, they're getting better at their world building. It seems like.
Yeah, I enjoyed every bit of this, and that round table they did was, I love that. The round table with their cultural assistant that was on one part of it, and then like the rest of the team, like them talking about like, yeah, we don't want to use size and nunchucks in any of these cards because it's Okinawan, and we don't want to branch over this. And I'm like, I'm just getting learnt over here. Which I'm like, can we go there so we can get size in nunchucks? Because I'm cool. We can go that city too. We can go that city state. I'm all about this.
You know, it was illegal to carry nunchucks in New York City until like 2017 or something.
That's the fact I needed.
I mean, honestly, with that many people in that close proximity, I would imagine it's illegal to carry a lot of things.
Not nunchucks.
I bet you could carry a flamethrower. America!
I mean, if you're carrying a flamethrower, who's going to stop you?
This conversation was a hell of a conversation to rejoin to.
Aquaman.
One of the banned items throughout grade school and high school, butterfly combs. People were terrified of butterfly knives growing up in the upland South, and so they did not care whether it was a comb or not.
The switchblade combs.
Switchblade and the butterflies were all banned.
Yep.
I think it's just the idea that people just comb their hair throughout the day is kind of wild to me.
That used to be me as a kid. I was not cool.
Like, how many times does your
BRB?
hair need to be combed through a day? You know what I mean? Especially at that time period when people use so much gel and shit.
Yeah.
Also, it depends how long your hair is grown out at that point, and also how old you are. You know, like realistically, at the time being, I was 14 and I thought everything was deep, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna comb my hair all the time. Yeah,
That's my thing. I'm a comb guy.
yeah. You know, legitimately as well, there was something that you know, I think as a kid we gravitate towards that idea of like, if you have the like switchblade comb-esque type deal, it's like, oh, look at him, he's so hard. It's like, no, but I mean, live your life, kid.
I'm 15. I got a switchblade comb and a pocket watch.
And an apple core.
When I'm done with my apple core, I just throw it over my left shoulder and let the devil deal with it. Ooh. Unless there's someone behind me, because I'm socially awkward and I would never throw something at someone because that means I have to interact with them.
Yes. That's the more terrifying
Com-
part.
Combing a beard is different because if your beard gets tangled, it's very uncomfortable.
I imagine that's, yeah.
If you have a tangly beard, I'm speaking from experience, it is not fun.
Mm.
Speaking from no experience, I believe you.
I'm speaking from experience. So it's coming back in. I'm growing it out again.
I mean, hey, as you are.
It's there. It's working on it. It's a process.
I mean, look, listen, it opens up amazing cosplay opportunities.
Right?
That's true.
Mm-hmm. Just saying. New doors are opening every day. I'm just taking bets on what Glam will resurrect next. I'm very excited about this.
Oh
Man, it's
really
gonna be like
surprised that Toff got so on board with it after the mom student, we'll call it.
Ugh. You know, she's not a nice lady.
I'm not gonna lie.
Fought with her.
That part of the relationship between Tolf and his mom is actually super fascinating as a story beat.
Thank you. I'll put some brain cells behind it. I will say, I didn't think all three things. It's been a little weird because obviously when we did this, I originally just created Toff as like, oh, it's a one-shot thing. So I guess we'll just put him away in a book and forget about him. And then here we are, and it's like, oh no, okay. Now I gotta dredge all this backstory that I wasn't planning on ever having to RP in the light of day.
It's fun to make up a ton of stuff you'll never ever have to explain.
Yeah. It's like there's something like that's cool. It's another thing where like I'm going to have to express emotions behind some of these things.
I just got brought banana bread, dude.
Hell
duck.
yeah.
Nice.
Freaking lucky.
That
It's
is what we
warm,
like
fresh
to
out of the
see.
oven.
Want that?
Mm.
I think that's anything that when you create a character, because especially on a show like this, you have to, I mean, with a lot of people when they talk about creating characters in D&D, it always is part of ourselves that creates a sense of reality and an opportunity for us to create really meaningful experiences because there are threads of us still. But that's also the challenge of it too, is that knowing that it's in a live show, what do we feel comfortable sharing in parts of ourselves? So I mean, sure, it's acting, but a lot of this comes from an inspiration of a very real place that I'm now putting in a very public space. So it's like,
And Toff is the part of you that talks to dead people.
well, let's be clear. My parents are both alive and healthy and part of my life, so I'm very lucky. That was not part of the inspiration behind Toff. That was just Cubone.
Cubone.
That's like something a lot of people have to consider and can be really hard to pull out if you're not ready for.
I'm not gonna lie, like in the 3-shot campaign where I was going super hard with the whole thing of like, you know, the whispers, etc. I sat there, I was like, I don't know if I am gonna immediately commit to that particular aspect if ever something comes up. And I'm slowly starting to realize, no, like, this is something that, you know, this makes a bit of the character. And yeah.
If you whisper to the void, does it whisper back?
Yeah. The thing that I've done with my last 2 D&D characters, one of which is with a friends group and the other of which of course is here, is that I have tried to draw on something that I like, but also something else that is very uncomfortable to me. It's kind of how I landed in this place with the whole like Cyblade thing.
That's a good combo.
Because it gives interesting opportunities for storytelling, but also, yeah, it forces you to think about things and actually unpack that shit.
Yeah, which is exciting, right? To explore and figure out like, well, what do I? And you can't, you can only plan it so much because now you have to rely on your teammates to ask different
The
questions.
correct questions.
Yeah, and they people approach things differently, which is the fun and terrifying part.
So, morning has been reached. Biddy, the first one out. The rest of you waking up from Jacob's locket. Brom is gone.
Does she notice he's gone? Like right off the bat?
Yep.
Is your locket like openable like a door? Like, can I yell into it? Y'all would hear me.
No, not. I mean,
Darn.
I guess if you yelled, we probably would hear. Not really.
Alright, she's
the door
gonna
is
yell.
open.
Yell. Even if it sounds like a little squeak to you in the
I
distance.
don't think it exists on a different plane or anything. I think it's just a. Yeah. Yeah, we'll probably hear.
All right. Well, she's gonna open up the locket or however it functions for us to get in and out. And let me put the mic away. She's gonna go.
You need to get your butts out here, Brom's missing!
Jake
Go
wakes
ahead.
Up. He's probably just off on a walk.
Toph will panic because he hears the panic in Biddy's voice, and his ears will pop straight up, and he'll almost jump, like the fur on the back of his neck stands up. Oh no! And he'll hop out to join you, sword in hand. What do we do? Where do we find him?
Well, I think we should first wait for everybody because the last time somebody went missing, we ended up finding mushrooms that were killing us.
Oh yeah,
So we should probably wait.
right.
The last time someone went missing, they weren't actually missing, and you just snooped around. And maybe that's what we're doing here.
Unceremoniously and without much need or want for it, Zanryn is going to fall out of the rafters. Tea! Huh? What? What? What did I miss?
Oh, we spilling tea out here, baby.
What? Okay, I'll be right there. I'm just gonna collect myself and stand and dust myself off and shake the nonsense from my head. But considering I'm an owl, I'm shaking like 120 degrees to the left and like 300 degrees back to the right. It's like nearly full head rotations.
Biddy and Toph, you can both roll perception checks.
I'm doing great. We're fabulous right now.
Look at us.
It is the morning.
I'll get out.
He's vanished. You
Nelson.
both see no sign of Brom whatsoever. You don't see his shield. You don't see him. You look up top towards the hand. Doesn't seem to be up there. He's not down by the carriage either.
Well, great. I wonder if Nelson scared him away. Or pissed him off.
Oh, that's true. They weren't getting along, were they?
Not at all. I thought it was actually kind of funny.
Yeah. They really got under each other's nerves, which is really silly because they can just do their own thing.
Nelson comes
Yeah.
out and was like, under my nerves?
Your feathers?
Wait, we were upset with each other?
Oh, you didn't know that.
Well, at least Brom was upset with you. Which I'm sure you noticed.
He was
I know he didn't
was
ruffle your
mad?
feathers, but you ruffled his.
What was he upset about though?
Probably because you weren't wearing pants.
I haven't been wearing pants the entire time we've been together.
I'm just kidding. He's not mad about that part. It's probably because he doesn't like the dead things you're doing.
It didn't seem to be an issue on the Meteor.
That is very true.
Things
I wonder
were a
what Brom's
little
going through.
different on the Meteor. Well, did anyone see where he slept?
Nelson's
not at
gonna
all.
be looking around, investigating the area.
Go ahead and roll an investigation check.
We're doing awesome.
Oh, that's gonna be able to find him.
You go up to investigate, but it end up doing a little bit more burbing than actual investigating, you know? It's a good early morning pickings.
Well, I don't see anything, but I don't think we should follow Thomas again.
Noted.
That didn't work out great last time. Well, seeing as it worked last time when I tried... I'll be right back. I'm gonna go ahead and fly up into the air and see if I can get a view of where Brom might be with a higher altitude.
Roll a perception check.
Yes.
"17 as you take flight and you scan the skies and look for the road to see if he's either walk down. Either way, you do not see Brom on the road. But while you're up there, you look towards the hand, and you do see near Brom's bedroll, there does seem to be something in the spot where he was at.
I'm gonna go fly up and investigate and see what's happening.
You fly over towards there. There's a small bit of rocks that are piled around a handwritten scroll that is tucked near where his bedroll was.
What does the scroll read? Can I pick it out?
You pick up and you take the two leather ends off and begin scanning this scroll, and it doesn't have a written note by any means on it. It's only directions on where to receive your payment for the job.
I'm gonna go ahead and psychically whisper down to the rest of the crew, telling them to come up and take a look at this. Something is wrong, but I think I found something Brom left for us.
You can
want
see
us
it's
to come up, or do you want to come down?
You can see it has
I
his.
say that now, and I'm realizing that's kind of stupid. I'm gonna fly down. I'm sorry.
It's got his signature on it. It's a sign off and a location for the individual monies owed in the form of 1,000 gold pieces per, and it has the address of where to pick it up inside of Baldur's Gate.
Is this your plan to make sure we don't get to Baldur's Gate still? Dagnabbit.
I'll never get there.
Take a look. I don't understand. His bedroll's up there and a small pile of rocks, which is where I found this.
What is it?
It looks like a note, directions and instructions on how to receive payment for our job, but no Brom. And his bedroll is still up there.
Did he write this?
I think he did.
Yep, you can see his signature on it.
Look. See?
Oh.
Well, it could be one or two things. He could have had this in his pocket all along, and, you know, may have dropped it as he left, or he also is on his way to Baldur's Gate. Or he just hates us and wants to never see us again. Either way, it's very Brom of him.
But why would he leave his bedroll up there? Doesn't sound like Brom.
Like when I said bedroll, it's like where he bedded down at. Like he's got his stuff.
Oh, I see. Sorry. So he hasn't. It's not just like the sign of an abduction. Okay. I thought we were dealing with like law and order, criminal intent here, being like the mysterious case of the disappearing Brom.
The alien Sasquatch that loved me.
Baldur's Gate's got some weird spaces. I don't know. I haven't read all of the monster manual. Aliens could be part of it.
100%. They're in Frostmaiden.
Wayland Yutani's been trying to get that Xenomorph hookup for a while. Brom just happened to know a few guys, you know. he's been dragged off to the hive, you know. I'm gonna look at the others, unsure. This was never my payment to receive. This was all about you. What should we even do with this?
Well,
Oh,
go ahead.
hey. Obviously, he wants us to have the payment, so we should take it and go get paid. If he wanted us to come look for him, he would have written that down. You know, don't you think?
Hmm.
Well, it's kind of rude to not say goodbye. He was a bit abrupt, but I don't think he was rude.
Hmm. Brom comes around very quickly when someone shows a degree of faith. I don't think he'd just abandon us like that.
Especially the whole group.
Hmm.
Well, I suppose we could try to track him a little bit.
Anyone see any footprints?
No, I've been trying to get all this sleep out of my eye. It's like gunky.
Maybe smell. Maybe we can smell him. He was helping to burn all of the dead things last night, so the smoke probably got a little bit into his clothing, so we could probably track that a little bit. That's really hard to get out of cloth-like materials because you have to wash it, and he hasn't washed them.
So, I can psychically whisper to anything within a mile, RoBear. If I psychically whisper to Brom, does anything go through?
Go ahead and roll a spell attack.
Okay. How does one roll a spell attack?
Oh, that's right, because you're a rogue. You just need to take your proficiency plus your intelligence modifier
Mm-hmm.
and add that to a d20.
Okay, so a d20 plus 12.
$22. As you reach out into the void, son of a bitch! You scared the shit out of me! Oh! You know, you give somebody a heads up on that.
And I would say the same to you, but you seemed to leave us high and dry.
I'm over here trying to get breakfast. I've been over here trying to roast up some grouse this morning.
And yet you left the note at the top indicating almost like we should carry on without you.
When I leave up the oh, bugger. It rolled out in my pocket. Ah, shit. Yeah, it's the manifest we pick up at Baldur's Gate. I want to get us a proper breakfast, maybe fry up a little grouse.
We've been worried sick about you. Where are you?
I'm just not too far into the woods, not enough where you can't find me. I'm over here in the low brush. I'm not jumping this morning, no.
All right, give us a second. I'm not gonna not psychically tell the others. He's here. Come with me. He was getting food.
What?
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna look at Toff and I'm just gonna go whispers, and then do the sort of oh god, what's the one meme? Oh god, where it's the guy who taps his forehead with two fingers. Oh god.
Yes.
Not even attempting
Eddie
to
Murphy?
make that meme. No, not Eddie Murphy. No, not even attempting to replicate that meme. Roll safe. There we go. Wow, isn't that ironic for D&D? Nah, like roll safe, but without like the face as a way of indicating like, yes, I can talk inside my head.
Ah, no luck. As you can see, Brom comes up empty-handed from over in the brush. He's just got a bunch of bramble on him and the sides. I really had my sights set on frying some chicken this morning.
Well,
What, everybody's
in each other.
Well, you thought I up and left you, did you?
Well,
I mean, I did say that the note could have fallen from your pocket.
and you did kind of storm off, and you weren't in the amulet like the rest of us.
I thought maybe you had a necklace. like Jacob's.
I assumed you were a grown adult and could do whatever you wanted.
Well, these short, stubby legs wouldn't have taken me very far anyway. I was really just kind of hungry. A bit clumsy what rolls out of my pocket.
I mean, there's a locket with a lot of food. If you need something.
You got food in there? Did you have food in there the last time?
He had a ton of potatoes.
Yes. Yeah.
So many
amazing.
potatoes.
I even
I don't
put some
remember
in
the
my
potato-
pocket afterwards.
Ah, son of a...
Yeah.
I don't
There's a
remember
lot of
the...
potatoes and coffee and tea.
Oh, I remember the coffee and tea, but there's only so much coffee and tea when you're hungry you can eat. Ah,
And
bother.
there were grubs.
I don't want to eat your fucking grubs. Maybe if they're fried. I've never had them fried before. They might not be bad. A little squishy on the inside. Like a bad nugget. No grouse, though.
Yo. Braun's talking about chicken tendies in this game.
God, you pissed me off. I got hangry. Go over and take the edge off with some grouse. Go hunting. That's what we do. Good to see your undead piece of shit still out here, Nelson. Well,
Corey? Corey? Are you talking about Corey?
oh, great. It's got a name.
Well, yeah, it has a name. We named it.
Wonderful. All right, Corey. We're about to ride into hell. Anybody else find some blankets to cover this thing up?
Corey taking Braun's word as a command, like, gets low, you know, because Nelson had, like, linked Corey to the entire party, gets low and kind of just scoops right under Braun's legs, throws, like, in an unnatural way, like, not a way that a horse would move. Like, you know,
Okay.
like, weird zombie disjointed things, and gets Braun on their back.
No, I don't want any. It stinks. It's putrid. No, I don't want any part of this. Nope. He's trying to rise, get his leg over to the other side, but it's kind of like trying to get your socks on in the morning. He's like, God damn it. Put me down.
You made a friend, Brom?
No, I've not made a friend. This thing isn't a friend. It's not alive. It's a puzzle piece of what used to be a living, breathing thing. Maybe I should have got up and took my stubby legs and left. This is bullshit. Let me down, Nelson. Come on, get me off this thing. I'm done with it.
Nelson, like, gestures to Corey, and it just does kind of like a weird broken lean where half of it just kind of like
Oh,
flips
that's-
like a switch and dumps it down to the side.
Oh, it's disgusting. Ugh. You didn't answer me, though. Did you find any more blankets? You can't just ride into the sunset with this thing.
I mean, you could.
Or you can't. I don't know how familiar everyone is since they just met in Boulder's Gate, but you're not rolling up with your undead pony up to the front.
Well, what if we just let it go right before we get up there?
Fine. You can risk whoever sees you on the highway in your carriage from hell, but you happen to be rolling up to a city that had a problem with the undead literally coming up from a scar in the middle of it. They have a mild predisposition for this bullshit.
Does that mean they'll be used to it?
Where did I find you people? How much did I drink when I
Bulletin board.
posted on that board?
A lot.
A lot.
It happens at taverns.
No, we can't just willy-nilly waltz up there with this. You're gonna have to cover this thing.
Do we know about Jacob's magic carpet, or did he like hide that?
No, it's a pretty big rug, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of hard to hide. I don't know that I would come out and say it's a magic carpet though. I obviously have got the rug.
We could leave Corey here and let the rug pull the carriage. Showing up to the gate with a flying carpet pulled cart.
All the above. Whoa.
Oh my god. I just had the most horrifying image of that scene, except every animal in the procession is just undead and it's Nelson at the head of the procession.
As it should be.
Welcome.
My god.
Welcome to the Black
wow.
Parade.
Oh boy.
I don't know what to tell y'all. You're gonna have to come up with something and some way to disguise your undead horse getting back to the city.
What if we just cover it with mud or something?
Yeah.
That's equally as terrifying. Your mud golem undead horse that marches up to the front of Baldur's Gate. Trust me, I would like a carriage ride as much as anyone else, but I don't think your one undead horse is gonna be able to carry us all.
Can we look around? Maybe there's surely there's blankets left inside the carriage. After all,
you can have
merchants
my
don't.
vest. And Toff will take off his vest top that he has, which is also his only top, so. And we'll put it on top of the horse.
Don't. Toff.
Is now on Team Skins. Or
Nelson
Team
sees
Fur, I
Tom.
guess.
You know, I could take off my robe, but I'm not wearing pants.
Yeah. Which is worse, him naked or the horse?
All things you also need to be in the city. No sirs, no shoot, no service.
Did we burn the bugbear?
The owlbear, yes.
Yeah, the owlbear. Sorry, yeah.
Yep.
Never mind.
Did you want to like have it wear that owlbear
I was
suit?
gonna skin it.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. Buffalo Bill and his.
I mean, what else is big enough to cover a horse?
Yeah, it's a real big fat owlbear over there.
Can I search to see if there's like the remnants of a knoll that hasn't been completely destroyed that maybe we can skin or something? I don't know.
Good idea.
Or perhaps if maybe just a simpler search for blankets.
There are pieces of gnoll skin, probably equally as terrifying. Putting untanned pieces of hide. I don't think anybody has a background here in forestry and tanning to be able to prep these. Would be probably pretty gross, pretty gory still.
I don't know. Gnomes are wild.
You ain't seen me crazy yet.
Zanryn, how far is it? Did you see? Do we even really need the carriage?
About a day's ride from here. If we start now, we'll get there by nightfall, I reckon.
Riding.
I don't want to
though.
walk.
I mean, if we get by the end of...
What about halfway then? We just take it halfway.
Well, 3/4 or 4/5. We could walk the last bit.
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
downhill to Baldur's Gate?
It's actually pretty flat.
Oh, never mind then.
See? It'll save our feet, and then we could even run the last quarter bit.
Run.
Yeah, I can run. Can you?
Not very well.
I can carry you if you want.
I don't think you want to. Pretty stout.
Well. Okay. Well,
Right.
I vote you ride the dead pony for at least halfway.
Can I cast minor illusion on the horse to make it look like what the party considers a live horse?
You would need a little bit more than minor illusion on it. You would need major illusion. Minor illusion you could do on some smaller stuff, but with
Sure.
the horse's size, it's just a little bit too big for that.
I like that you clarified of what the party thinks is a normal horse, as if like purposely excluding that I think this is normal as is.
Exactly.
The commitment is admirable. Thank you. Sorry.
Affection. I don't know if this is quite the recommendation, but maybe I can make it disappear by the time we reach Baldur's Gate. I could turn it invisible briefly. We'd have to ditch the carriage, and then of course there'd be the issue of it reappearing. But maybe we'd be able to more easily approach.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. We'll do this both our ways. We throw what blankets we got left on what's his name?
Corey
Meredith the Third?
Corey Meredith III gets the blanket treatment for halfway there.
Oh, Brom, you named it too, though. Corey Meredith Shitpile.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna get us halfway there. And then it's gonna have to go. And I'll do my best to summon us up a celestial to take us the other half. And then we go ahead and dismiss it on its way.
Is that the celestial that Biddy likes?
Tough. She's gonna get like red in the face.
Your eyes got really big last time he showed up.
I also just came back from death when he showed up.
Okay.
Also, let's not talk about the position there.
Zanryn, stop picking on me!
Look, it's a statement of fact. I mean, you know, his carriage was very visible from.
Yes, he's a very attractive angel baby. Okay, can we carry on now?
No, it will not be pulled by an angel.
Oh, darn it.
I'm sure you haven't seen the last of them. I'm sure we'll get into some shit again soon.
So what you're saying is I should try dying again.
Please. Not anytime soon.
All right, then halfway. I want to sit up in the front. And Toff is going to jump right in to that front seat to be able to ride off as the sun rises.
I'll sit with you, Toff.
Toff will scoot over. Come on. That's you.
She's gonna hop up and she's like bouncing a little bit on it. Little feet's dangling.
If you bounce with it, it's supposed to hurt less because the road's really bumpy.
Ah.
Mm-hmm.
I used to have a horse and travel.
You did?
I did.
What was it called?
What do you think it was called?
Angel Baby. Based on what you last heard you call someone.
Actually, it was Spotted, so we named it Spot, but
Oh.
that's not a bad choice.
Spotted
Angel.
angel baby. Nelson's gonna
It's in English.
walk over to Corey and just kind of like he barely has to like do a little hop and throws a leg over and perches on Corey's back.
Oh, even better. Literally,
so big.
literally
Oh,
looks
death.
like the Reaper of Death is riding in the Baldur's Gate.
We did it!
You've got these two little, like, 3-foot tall gremlins behind you. this is a look.
Probably still covered in quite a bit of blood. None of us have gotten cleaned. Right.
Jacob.
To the city.
Where do you hitch a ride on the coach? Brom's gonna hop on the back.
And probably inside.
Where it all started.
Just go inside, put my feet up.
Such comfort.
He's going back to the scene of the crime.
He's gonna just hang up his necklace and go in there.
A lot more room in here without the null.
What's great is the fact that no one saw you inside the party. That it's your own little kept secret that you started the fire.
It was always burning. I didn't start it.
You didn't start it.
As you all begin making your way down the path to Baldur's Gate in your undead chariot. Slowly clip-clopping your way with this false beast of burden. It moves in the most unnatural ways over the terrain. It does a pretty good job when it's not rocky, but when it is, it's like... It
Kind of goes into Boston Dynamics.
Yeah, the
mode.
Boston Dynamics is what I was
They're
thinking.
like, bonk, bonk, bonk,
100%.
bonk, yeah.
And it's a little freaky looking. For those up front, Nelson, Toff, Biddy, I need you to roll a perception check. (14, 11). Nelson, you may roll.
Oh, ooh. Oh. I see nothing, I say.
Wait, can I use a lucky?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's just a normal reroll, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Not much better. actually much worse. Doing great.
Thriving.
Nelson, I can't see anything behind you.
Toff, you're the first one to notice there is someone off the side of the highway.
Pass him.
Kind of. Yeah.
By themselves. There seem to be sets of tools around them, almost like a small stand. And you can hear in the distance, "Clean your horseshoes!
Oh no.
Clean your horseshoes! Dusk Punch Cleaning Services, clean your horseshoes!"
There's a horse dude up front.
Oh, dang it. We can't let him see this horse.
No. We have to go fast past him. Just kind of like gallop right past. We can't stop. Then he'll definitely know that Corey Meredith III is not okay.
You know what I can try to do? I can bring up my echo. Switch places with her. And I will distract the man, and y'all go by, and then as soon as you're by, I'll switch again.
Yes. Let's do that. And then we won't have anyone sounding any alarms.
Hail, traveler! Clean your horseshoes!
Nelson, stop the horse.
Yeah, Nelson just thinks to the, we slowly come to a stop.
And you guys are about 50 feet away, and you can see there's a stand that's set up, very rudimentary. There's a couple of buckets to the side, some claw hammers, and there's an individual that looks worse for their wear, buzz cut, very 5 o'clock shadow, seems to be wearing a Witchlight Carnival 1983, very tight shirt. There's some definite blood splatters on it. Nose is very crooked, has been broken recently, and has some cargo pants on.
Biddy's gonna turn to the group. Okay, so we definitely cannot go by this man with this undead horse. Because I don't know what's gonna happen. Every time we meet people, things just go wrong. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring out my echo. She's going to sit here, and I'm gonna walk up to this man, and I will do my best to distract this man while you all go by. And as soon as I see you far enough away, I'll do the old switcheroo.
A silver a hoof, I'll clean your horseshoes. Dusk Punch Cleaning Services.
Ugh, he sounds
The
like
best in the Baldur's Gate.
Seems like a solid plan.
Okay. Can you go quickly with the horse, Nelson, whenever I get over there?
Nelson nods and then kind of starts moving at a very slow pace as Biddy makes their way over.
Okay. All right. I'm going to spawn my echo and where I'm sitting and get over to this man's.
As you begin to send your echo over.
No. My echo is going to be where I am. So I will spawn her and she's going to sit in my seat. And I will go as me. Because wouldn't it be even stranger to see, like...
Yes.
like a ghostly looking figure?
Excuse me, ma'am. You're interested in cleaning your tired horseshoes for a silver...
Hi, greetings, traveler. Yes, she's going to go up to him and then, like, kind of conversationally turn so that she's facing the road and he's got his back. So wait, how long have you been doing this? I've had a horse for a while, and I you seem like one that I could probably bring to come get the hoofs cleaned.
One doesn't exactly get into the horseshoe cleaning business because they want to, but this is the hand I've been dealt.
I mean, it seems like a very fair job to me.
No,
you
it's
do well.
awful. But I need to fix I gotta fix my nose.
You look like you could talk to somebody. Go ahead, tell me everything. And she's gonna like eyeball her friends, like go.
Nelson sees the man's back to them, and so kind of as the carts speed up.
I'm a very good listener.
I want you to roll persuasion check to get him.
Oh no, I'm a -1.
I believe in you.
Oh no.
Can I use a 1d10?
You may use your 1d10.
Okay.
Oh no.
Yeah, we wouldn't want him getting a whiff that something's up.
Oh, you got your 10! As he spins around, he puts his hands on his hips. Oh, I used to work in security. And these assholes I ran into.
You used to work with Curry or security?
No, I didn't work with Kim Curry. I worked security.
Sorry. My ears. Hang on. I might have something.
Not far from here. These fucking assholes. Like, These bullies keep following me around. And then I had to I got fired from there. I had to get a job at the Witchlight Carnival, and all I got was this shirt and my ass kicked again.
Wait, a carnival? That sounds like it was so interesting.
Oh, it's funny until you get your ass kicked. As he pulls out his last Witchlight 120 cigarette and lights it up. Can't even smell the menthol anymore.
Oh. Don't worry, it's still there.
Yeah, that's why I'm out here cleaning horseshoes, trying to get this my nose fixed so I can smell again. Girth Dusk Punch, nice to meet you.
Oh, nice to meet Girth?
Girth Dusk Punch.
Dusk
Punch. Sorry.
Dusk Punch.
Oh, that's not. Just call me Girth.
Hello, Girth. My name is Bitty. It's a pleasure. She's not going to extend her hand because she's kind of grossed out.
That's kind of funny. I'm Girth and you're Bitty. So,
she's gonna be a little offended, actually. What does it mean?
What's your name? Is it?
Yes.
You're small. Your name's small. Oh, you're bro.
I beg your pardon. Have you not seen me? I'm very average sized.
Average for small folk.
Excuse, I am human.
Oh. You still want those horseshoes cleaned, ma'am?
I'm gonna psychically whisper to Biddy and ask how things are going.
She's just gonna. That's all you hear.
Sending back angry thoughts. Got it.
How far? How are we making progress behind?
I would hope so. I'm about to post this name.
You got the
If we
first.
don't leave,
So this is a
switch places. Smoke's gonna die.
this is a 3 skill check event. You have passed the first. You are now at the midway point going across. I'm sorry to offend you, man, but would you still like me to clean your horseshoes?
Calm down, Bitty. It's fine. This is just a part of the bit. How long are you open? I would have to go and get my horse.
I'm literally standing on the side of the highway trying to work for whoever comes here. I'm open anytime. It's not like like people don't come back. You go like.
I mean, I would. I'm an adventurer. I like to travel here and there. The curiosity gets the best of me.
Adventurers are bullies. Sorry. This adventurers busted up my nose. Got me fired. Bunch of dicks.
Bitty is like boiling underneath the skin. She's refraining to her best ability.
All it takes is, there's a ragtag group of 4 or 5 people get a little bit of magic and a stick up their ass and then start bullying us around. But you know what? If I had magic, I'd some people up too.
Why don't you try to go and learn magic? You could be good at it.
Roll a persuasion check.
She's like being very condescending right now.
Oh, that was.
Can she actually just intimidate him? At least I'm proficient in that.
What do you mean learn magic? Do I look like I stole through to you? You think I got this wrapped up in here? You got me cleaning horseshoes if I'm an authoriter? I got my withered book over here. Ma'am, I want to know if I can clean your horseshoes or not. Yes or
Sir,
no?
I have answered you several times, and now I need to tell you that you need to learn some self-love.
Roll an intimidation check.
Hell yeah. No! I'm using a lucky!
Intimidating
Hell yeah,
self-love.
So,
Okay.
this is a 14, 16, 18 challenge. You've succeeded on the second part.
Give me more luckies, chat.
You can only use one.
I know. But for later.
I'm sorry. The past is a sticky subject. I don't know what self-love or other you're talking about, but
you feel better about everything that's occurred in your life.
well,
You
that's
can look at things as a negative or a positive.
oh yeah. What would be a positive is doing a fine service and an honest day's work and helping clean your horses off here. Oh God. Sorry.
Are you okay?
No! I loathe it all. Stop! You see?
Would you like me to try to hit it back into place?
Oh, no.
I can do it. She's like cracking her knuckles.
I'd rather see a trained physician for that. Thank you.
I'm very good at what I do.
Ma'am, guys, we're going nowhere here with this. We haven't even.
Listen.
Is it price? Is it the price?
I'm trying to help you.
Roll a persuasion check.
No, let me just attack him.
Oh, don't worry, if you fail, you gotta check. And he is turning to look back over towards the undead carriage.
Wait.
Can I give you
Just
my
jump
weight?
It's somebody else reasonable over here that wants you. This is your. If you choose to attack, you may do so.
No, I'm gonna attack. But I'm going to attack to hopefully just kind of not hurt him, but knock him out for a little bit. So we'll just keep going.
You know what's happened.
He deserves this.
He is.
Alas.
He is the
Alas,
Biff Tannen.
adventures.
He's a total douche now, so don't feel bad.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh. Well, okay, actually, what's his
Luckily, it is Girth Dust Punch, and you could hit Girth Dust Punch with an 11.
Oh, okay, good.
How are you attacking him? What are you attacking him with? Just your fist?
Using my fist, yeah. She's just like, sir, like hopping in front of him, and as she sees his head turning, she's gonna punch it the other way.
Roll a 1d4, and you can add your strength to it. Strength modifier.
Okay. Okay, that's a 9.
Oh God! You killed her. You knock him on. You take him. He's only got 8. He's only got 8 left. DTD. Now he's not dead. You're trying to knock him unconscious.
I'm just trying to knock him unconscious.
Which you will. It will put him under. Any monster.
Put him under the ground.
Any monster that you do take all their hit points, it is your choice to kill or put them unconscious. So that is your goal.
Oh my God.
Is there anyone else over here that would like to deal with? And please describe this knockout blow.
So yeah, as she's kind of stepping in front of him, and she gets panicky, and she just decks him like right in the chin. And he notices as he's falling to the ground, and all she's gonna do is and look at her friends. And then she's gonna kind of drag him a little bit off the side of the road, back behind wherever his stuff is, and kind of cover him with some leaves that she finds, so that he could maybe be protected. And then she's gonna whisper, "Sorry about that. You just couldn't see the 3-legged undead horse. Good luck with your horses." She's gonna she doesn't need to teleport. She's just gonna catch up to her friends.
That's And enough. I've seen enough. As he sees Biddy cold cock this dude on the side of the road so he won't see our undead horse. Stop! Get off of that thing now. Put it away. I'm done with
He's
it.
catching up and hearing this.
And he's gonna.
Accident! I
What?
don't know my own strength. I'm very average size. You know, my muscles
Oh
are
my
huge.
god! Bunch of hoodlums! As he does this, he's got a smile on his face because he did see you rear back and just absolutely level this guy.
What was his race? Did I even know, like, his
He's
race?
just a human. No, I mean, he's literally Biff Tannen.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's
Oh my
literally
God.
Biff Tannen in our campaign. He's gotten his ass kicked in multiple places now.
Yeah.
I should honestly have just punched him square into a massive pile of horsemen here.
We gotta be
He's
careful for when he
He's
gets
been
the
there.
Sports almanac.
Oh, perfect.
He will come back as the true big bad someday.
Oh no!
Not
I
if
hope he doesn't
he
remember.
chooses to
Could I have hit him enough to forget my face?
Might hit him hard
Oh my
enough
God.
his nose straightened out.
I hope so. I wanted to help. Maybe he'll be grateful.
When he wakes
I
up from those
remember
pile
you.
of leaves, I'll let you know.
Oh no!
Nelson! Let's swap this thing out for the rest of the passage so we don't have bitty cold cocking people on the side of the damn road.
Okay, but at least it works. I didn't kill the man. Almost, but I didn't.
It's just going to be a little text that pops up in the bottom corner that says, "He will remember this."
No. Oh no! Am I the villain?
Are we the
I mean-
baddie?
We are very much looking like the baddie here. Just give me a second as Brom takes a second to conjure up. He has to use one of his 5th level spell slots to summon Celestial. And I'm going
Oh,
to
God.
summon a winged bull. It's this massive oxen, stark white. Give me that damn blanket so I can cover these wings up.
Okay.
Nelson, give him the blanket.
Nelson steps off of Corey and gestures for Corey to get out of the way. Nelson's very confused. He does not see how this is any different at all. Takes the blanket off and hands it to Brom.
Brom takes the slightly fetid blanket and covers up the wings on the Celestial on either side of the bull and starts fastening it to the cart. Looks the harnesses to the side. Be my guest. Take the bull by the horns. As he goes and hops on the back of the carriage.
Nelson gestures for Thomas to jump in his bag because we're not going to leave Thomas behind. And then climbs back onto this bull. Brom, does it have a name?
Name's Bronson.
Bronson?
Bronson, that's his name. Bull
Your
Bronson.
Your son.
Bromson and Bronson?
Bronson!
To be
Like
fair, it's
Missouri?
better than the man named Girth that I just met.
Ah, you met a man named Girth, eh?
I sure did.
Well, tell me all about Girth's story, silly bitty.
There's not much to tell you. Well, aside from the fact that he's just trying to make honest work, he had a witchlight cigarette, he lit that in front of my face, but he couldn't smell it. I could smell it. It was very putrid, to be fair. And then he came from some circus. He said he got beat up a lot, and I told him I wanted to rearrange his nose. And that's why I initially was going to punch him for that, but then he was like, no, and he started to turn around and see all, and I couldn't let him see the dead horse, so I decked him.
With that perfect camera pan away as Biddy describes the situation, you begin to make your last back half push towards Baldur's Gate. As you can see the big nugget in the sky as it gets 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon, sun pouring down, but you are close to home, and we will pick up headed back to the Basilisk Gate. Actually, no, we'll be headed towards Rivington. We're on the south side.
That sounds fancier.
It does.
Headed towards Rivington when we pick back up next week. We're finally there.
And we didn't kill anybody today.
I'll believe it when it happens.
Well,
we didn't. Hold on here.
We didn't.
I'm still 50% sure Girth will die of a concussion, maybe.
We didn't kill
Your brain
anybody.
cells missing now.
He just got cosmetic surgery, okay? Everybody heals from it, it's fine.
He's gonna join Reeves in the Apple Dumpling Gang.
Is that their name now?
I still wonder whether Reeves died of
We
fright.
represent the Apple Dumpling Gang. The Apple Dumpling Gang.
They start like some Brothers Without Banners thing, right?
All right, we're gonna shoot the after show. Thank you all for joining us. We appreciate you. Have a great rest of your evening. I'll see you guys for Witchlight in about an hour and 15 minutes. Love you all. Bye-bye.